What has long been taboo is now on the table: an expansion of Europe's nuclear arsenal. For decades, Europe felt safe with just two nuclear powers, France and the UK, because of what's called the nuclear umbrella of the United States, the certainty Washington would use its superior capabilities to respond if European allies were attacked. While U.S. officials insist their nuclear guarantees remain intact, President Donald Trump's ambiguity toward NATO's collective security commitments has European leaders contemplating their options. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz broached the subject of increased European nuclear cooperation even before he took office, a clear shift from his predecessors.
We have to talk to the British and the French, to both European nuclear powers, about the question of whether nuclear sharing, or at least nuclear safety, could be claimed from the UK and France.
Just a couple of weeks later, French President Emmanuel Macron responded with what was also considered a landmark statement.
I have decided to open the strategic debate on the protection through our deterrence of our allies on the European continent.
Now, a year later, Macron says discussions about ensuring the French nuclear program also deters attacks on allies are underway with Germany for the first time in history.
This is a way to create convergence in our strategic approach and strategic culture between Germany and France. And I think for me it's very important, because this is the cornerstone of such a path forward.
That path forward, envisioned by Macron and others, would not replace the U.S. as the backbone of Western nuclear deterrence, but could increase the coverage of the French and British arsenals. That could mean expanding, perhaps even explaining publicly, what France considers its so-called vital interests, other countries it may be willing to defend with its nuclear arsenal. The French military could hold nuclear-related exercises with allies, and it could station in other countries aircraft capable of carrying a nuclear weapon. What France is not expected to do is to follow the U.S. model of storing nuclear weapons in multiple NATO countries for quick pickup should a nuclear strike ever be ordered. The French president will retain full decision-making powers.
Some things in the nuclear policy will not change. The fact that it is, for instance, fully sovereign, autonomous, that it cannot rely or depend on any other partners to work. This is, for instance, a very important element.
Germany has also clarified that more dialogue doesn't mean dramatic decisions that could breach its obligations under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT.
Germany signed at least 2 contracts and said we will never have nuclear weapons. And I think we will, no, I don't think, I know, we will remain committed to that signatures and to that treaties. We won't have any.
The Polish president wants to go further, despite Warsaw also being a signatory to the NPT, which prohibits spreading of technology to build nuclear weapons.
The French president's openness about the nuclear umbrella is welcome, but I am in favor of developing our own research and development capabilities as well.
Rose Gottemoeller negotiated the New START treaty, which limited U.S. and Russian nuclear warheads, and has just expired. She's also former Deputy Secretary General of NATO. Gottemoeller hopes other European governments do not choose to become nuclear powers.
Why I'm advising, think carefully if you want to maintain your social welfare programs and you have this massive conventional buildup to take care of, are you really ready to spend the huge budget that is required for a nuclear weapons program? And don't forget, you're not only building and acquiring the weapons, you are dealing with decades of nuclear waste afterwards.
NATO Chief Mark Rutte had harsher words for those countries, even considering the concept of an independent European nuclear deterrent.
That costs billions and billions of euros. You will lose then, in that scenario, you would lose the ultimate guarantor of our freedom, which is the US nuclear umbrella. Good luck.
That didn't go down well with many Europeans who don't want luck, but rather the security of a nuclear umbrella that can be counted on, rain or shine.